Hello students, welcome to the next part of the lesson networking concepts. Now today the first thing that we are going to discuss is advantages of networking. So networking in computers leads to efficiency, economy and effectiveness in an organization. Some of the advantages that are associated with networking are: the first one, efficient use of storage media. It is economical to store application software on a network drive than store a copy of the application on each user's storage device. It is better to have one big hard disk in the server than to have small hard disks in different computers. So now do you know that there are hard disks in every computer, so it's better that we have only one storage device that is big enough to store all the application softwares that are required in every system. We do not need to install the application software on each and every system, thus we do not need to have large hard disks in every system. This reduces the cost also of implementing a hard disk or in the computers, and this also makes an efficient use of the storage media, that is a hard disk. The second advantage is that of preserving information. It is difficult to maintain regular backups on a number of standalone computers. When you keep backups on a central location, you have only one place to look for information. The third advantage is that reduction in hardware costs. In a network, there are certain devices which can be shared, like modem, scanner, printer, etc. So what will this do in return? In return, it will reduce the hardware costs. Every system will not be required to have a modem or a printer on a scanner. Any one computer on the network having all these devices will be enough for the other devices to share with them. The next advantage is that of efficiency. In a network, modification, deletion, upgradation of software is required to be done at a single point only. It improves the efficiency of working. Now if we have to install a software, if we have to delete a software, or if we have to upgrade any software, then we need to just update it on a single system, that is the server system, and that server system will is sufficient enough to upgrade the software on the other systems of the network. The next point is redundancy. The requirement for hard copies of all the documents is reduced, as sharing a file over the network greatly reduces the need of hard copy. So in this we understand that we do not need to take printout every time. Like suppose, let's take an example of our school. Our principal sir wants to send information to different teachers. So what will he do? He can send it or he can send it over a network, and after sending it over the network, the copy of the information will be sent to each of the teachers that are there in the school. He does not need to take a print. The next topic for discussion is networking media. Data gets transmitted to from one location to another by using either wires or without the use of wires. So when the data is being transmitted, it gets transmitted by the use of either wires or without wires. So in this topic we will be learning about the networking media. The first thing that we'll be learning in networking media is wired networking technology. In wired networking technology, we'll be discussing about various wires that can be utilized for the transmission of data. Under this category, the first thing that we are going to discuss is Ethernet cables. It is one of the most popular form of network cables used in a wired network. It looks like a phone cable, but it is larger than a phone cable. It connects various devices such as PCs, routers, and switches within a LAN. LAN here means local area network. Their advantage is that they consume less power, and there are two types of Ethernet cable: crossover cable and straight through cable. So Ethernet cables are similar to that of a telephone cable that is connected to the landline of your phones. Now you must be wondering what type of cable is that. In that cable, there's the front portion of the wire or the cable is inserted into a device. So similarly in this case also there is a wire or Ethernet cable gets inserted into devices like, or it gets connected to devices like PCs, routers, and switches that are connected within a LAN. LAN is a local area network, right? Now there are two types of Ethernet cables, that are crossover cable and straight through cable. The next is coaxial cable. This cable is used for the transmission of video communication signals and audio. It is mainly used by the cable television industry to connect TV to cable TV services. This cable can also be used in a network as it has greater transmission capacity as well as high bandwidth. It is inexpensive and can transmit data at higher rates. The two types of coaxial cable are baseband coaxial cable, broadband coaxial cable. So this is a type of cable that is mainly used in the transmission of video communication signals and audios. So have you seen your cable? I hope everyone has a cable TV in their houses. So they must have seen the wire that comes with it, that is connected to the set top box. It is a coaxial cable. This cable can also be used in the network because the transmission capacity of this cable is very high and it has a high bandwidth also. So this makes this it makes this cable one of the most important wired media for the transmission of data. The most important thing about this cable is that it is inexpensive and can be purchased at very cheap cost. The transmission of data also takes place at a higher speed, and the two types of cables are baseband coaxial cable and broadband coaxial cable. We all have heard about broadbands, right? So for broadband connection, these types of cables are made use of. The next under this category of wired technology is fiber optics. Fiber optics or optical fiber is a technology that has a higher speed capacity of transferring data. A fiber optics cable consists of a glass core surrounded by several layers of protective material. These glass threads are capable of transmitting data into light signals at extremely high speed. Thank you, class. With this, we come to the end of today's session. I hope you have understood. If you have any issues or any queries, please put those queries in the group. I will solve all your problems. Thank you, class. Please stay in your home. Please stay safe.